The 2021 season is upon us, and that means I have to make my 5 bold predictions for this upcoming season. So let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name is Josiah, and welcome to the Fanco Wrestling YouTube channel, where we discuss everything going on in the world of wrestling. And right now, there is so much to discuss because the season is finally here. We've been waiting for months and months and months, but we're here, and we're here to make some bold predictions. And I can tell you right now that my number 5 prediction is going to upset some people, but that's totally fine because that's why we discuss everything down in the comments below. So the first prediction that I have for this upcoming season is that 3 teams or more, I actually think that 3 or more teams will go undefeated. Now, hear me out. So in the past, last year, we had Iowa, who went 13-0 undefeated, and NC State, who is in the ACC, they also went undefeated at 15-0. Everybody wants teams that go undefeated to duel each other. Like, if Penn State and Oklahoma State go undefeated, let's have them wrestle. If Iowa and NC State go undefeated, let's have them wrestle. Now, last year we didn't get that, unfortunately, but I think that we could see more of that this year because there's less out-of-conference competition. So, because Big Ten teams are pretty much just wrestling Big Ten. ACC, pretty much just wrestling ACC. SoCon, pretty much just wrestling SoCon teams. Because of all these different conferences staying pretty much in-house, we're going to see less potential for upsets. So, if, let's say, a Pac-12 team goes to wrestle a Big Ten team and I'm not saying upsets don't happen. I mean, let's look at Arizona State, who beat Penn State last year. But if a smaller Big Pac-12 school goes to wrestle a Big Ten school to get some better competition against some guys, there is a chance that the team may lose, but they get some good matches. But, you know, it's a loss on the schedule, right? But now with less of that happening, I think that we could see even more teams go undefeated because of the less out-of-conference competition. I think NC State has a good chance to go undefeated. I mean, Virginia Tech and UNC are also tough in the ACC. They'll pose some threats, Pitt as well. In the Big Ten, I mean, Iowa and Penn State, I think either of those teams could go undefeated. I mean, obviously, they're going to have to face off against each other at some point. But also, let's not forget about Michigan and Nebraska. There's also a chance that none of those teams go undefeated, and there's just like some sort of circle of wins and losses. In the Big 12, I think we could see Okie State or Iowa State, either of them go undefeated, because chances are if the team that beats the other one, good chance they're going to win out the rest of their matches. So that's my first bold prediction. The next bold prediction I have is that there will be 9 new NCAA champs. 9 new NCAA champs. Now, you may be wondering, well, how are there going to be 9 new champs? Really? Think about this. There are 2 returning national champs this year. If Nick Suriano does not return for this season, there are 2 returning national champs. That is Spencer Lee and Mekhi Lewis. And it's reported that Suriano may not return this season, but with Spencer Lee at 25 and Mekhi at 165, these are your returning champs. Look at everybody else. Yanni is unable to wrestle at 141 due to the Ivy Leagues not wrestling this season. Ashnault, Nolf, Valencia, Foster, Nickel, and Kassar, who were the 2019 NCAA champs, are all gone and graduated. And of course, last year, with 2020 being the canceled tournament that it was, we didn't get any champs. So we're going to see 9 potential new champs, I believe, is my prediction. So yes, I think Spencer Lee is going to win at 25, and you may be wondering, well, you don't think Mekhi is going to win at 65? I think that he does stand a strong chance, but I think that there's a lot deeper of competition at 165 than at 125 because there's just somebody who's far and away at 25. Now, Mekhi may roll through everybody. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. But that's why it's a bold prediction, right? It's a bold prediction because that'll happen. Now let's look a little bit at some team things. So I think that there will be a new team that wins the EIWA for the first time since 2001. So for the first time since 2001. Now, the team that actually won it for the first time in 2001, not for the first time, but it was Harvard. And since then, either Lehigh or Cornell has won it, and both of them have had some strong win streaks. But I think we're going to get the first team since 2001 to win it. And that is, we could be looking at, because this is where the Ivy Leagues were, right? This is where the Ivy Leagues are not able to wrestle in EIWA this year. So we still have American, Army, Bucknell, with Cornell and Columbia and Brown out and Princeton out. with Lehigh in there, with Navy in there now under the leadership of Coach Kolat, I think that we could get some strong competition in the EIWA this year. And the reason this is bold is because, I mean, man, no Cornell or Lehigh, and with Coach Kolat stepping in for the first time at Navy and potentially with a strong lineup winning the EIWA, I mean, that could be huge for that team. And I'm not saying it will be Navy, but I think that a new team will win the EIWA this year. The next conference that I want to talk about is the Big 12. So Okie State, I think, will take their 9th straight Big 12 championship. I do. This was tough. This was actually a very tough one. I think that Iowa State does stand a chance and is bold because of that. So Iowa State is probably the strongest contenders right now against Oklahoma State in the Big 12. They're ranked in the top 5 in many different polls. But Oklahoma State now, I mean, listen, the reason I think they're going to win it is, one, because they have some strong talent. I mean, they have so many tough guys with Dayton Fix, and as well as Travis Whitlake, as well as Sheet, as well as, let's talk about AJ Ferrari, who's not even ranked right now, but I think will end up being a great contender this year. Because of that, as well as momentum, I mean, from 8 years of straight Big 12 titles, and then last year, I mean, they just blew everybody out. They won 147.5 to 116.5 was what Iowa State had. Now, Iowa State still does have a lot of the same returners. They have a couple of new guys, but now with the loss of Gomez, that's going to be kind of tough for them to contend. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think that Oklahoma State will end up winning the Big 12 for the 9th straight year. And my 5th bold prediction, I think this one's going to upset some people. And listen, I get it. But please comment what you think down below. So I think there will be one team that has more NCAA champs than anybody. There's one team that has more NCAA champs than any other team. And it's not Iowa. It's Penn State. And I get it. All right. Calm down. Hear me out. So first of all, I think Iowa does stand a very strong chance to get 3 to 4 NCAA champs. I really do think that they have the chance. I also think that Michigan has a chance to get 3 or 4 NCAA champs. With Michigan, I mean, with Micic and Massa, Amin, and Paris, any of those guys could win. With Iowa, with Spencer Lee, Ironman, Marinelli, Kemmer, among others, I mean, Cassioppi's in the mix, and let's not get, I don't want to get too down on everybody, but let's think about this. Let's think about this for a second. With this unfortunate pandemic going on, with COVID going on, with somebody who may be forced out of competition due to COVID or other injuries or anything else, I mean, it's possible. I mean, with a school that you never know could pull out of competition, it's possible that anybody could make some big jumps this year, and we'll see that, especially how, you know, conditioning is concerned and wrestling is concerned, because not every program has been able to train the same amount. So we're going to see some different things happen this year, like, mark my words. But with Penn State, I think that we have a strong chance with RBY, with Nick Lee, with Aaron Brooks, Greg Kirkfleet. I mean, Penn State still has a lot to prove with a lot of these young guys, but I think that they do still have a chance. Even 97, I think, is an open weight that Michael Beard could do well, and depending on, you know, how he comes into the college scene. So I think that there is the chance that Penn State does get 4 NCAA champions, and that's why it's a bold prediction, right? It's a bold prediction that not everybody's saying that can happen, but it's mine for the beginning of the season. And maybe at the end of the season, you can come back and tell me, Josiah, you were just out of your mind, you were completely wrong, or when it's happened more times than not, is you could say, oh, I can't believe you called that, Josiah. That's absolutely crazy that you called that. But please leave your bold predictions down in the comments below. I'm interested to see what you have to say about your predictions or even about my predictions. Can't wait for this upcoming season.